From the Beatles versus the Rolling Stones to Taylor Swift versus Cardi B, rivalries between musicians have pretty much always been a thing. More often than not, these feuds tend to have some pretty stupid beginnings. I'm Think So Joe, this is Things You Might Not Know, and today is the triviality of Taking Back Sunday versus Brand New. Coming out of the turn-of-the-century emo and post-hardcore explosion, Long Island's Taking Back Sunday was formed in 1999 by bassist Jesse Lacey and guitarists Eddie Reyes and John Nolan. With the addition of singer Antonio Longo and drummer Stephen DeJoseph, TBS was poised to begin their climb to the top of the East Coast emo mountain. This climb was almost aborted as soon as it started, as childhood best friends John Nolan and Jesse Lacey had a pretty dramatic falling out. At the time, the reasons for this split were really only known by those directly involved in the drama. Adam Lazzara was brought in to replace Jesse Lacey on bass. After releasing their self-titled EP in 2000, Antonio Longo left the band, causing Adam Lazzara to move into the lead singer role. From there, Taking Back Sunday would solidify their lineup with Mark O'Connell and Sean Cooper on drums and bass respectively. Over the coming years, TBS would go on not only to become one of the most influential bands to be born out of the Long Island emo scene, but would eventually cross over into the mainstream with their 2006 single Make Damn Sure hitting number 2 on the Billboard 200. Don't worry about Jesse Lacey missing out on all of this though, he still did okay for himself. As Taking Back Sunday was still rounding out their cast of characters, Lacey was busy forming his own band, Brand New. With fellow guitarist Vincent Accardi, bassist Garrett Tierney, and drummer Brian Lane, Jesse Lacey's Brand New would go on to be just as influential, if not more so, as Taking Back Sunday on the future of emo and post-hardcore. And while I'm not interested in putting one band over the other as they're both great bands, Brand New's success definitely eclipsed that of Taking Back Sunday's when their second album, Deja and Tendu, hit gold status. Their follow-up, The Devil and God Are Raging Inside Me, has been credited in the years since its release as one of, if not the, most influential albums of its era. As the popularity of both Taking Back Sunday and Brand New grew throughout the early 2000s, fans started to dig into the pasts of both bands and found some interesting information. Before I tell you what they discovered, you know the drill. Make sure you like and subscribe to the channel, and while you're here, why not drop an idea for a future episode of Things You Might Not Know in the comments. The drama between Taking Back Sunday's John Nolan and Brand New's Jesse Lacey began back when Lacey was still the bassist for TBS. It was during this time that Nolan has claimed that Lacey stole his girlfriend. Anyone who has paid any attention to how things worked in the emo, punk, and hardcore scenes during the early 2000s probably is not surprised by a years-long feud being born out of two dudes fighting over a girl. The evidence of this feud is contained within the lyrics of some of both bands' most well-known songs. Two examples of this that many fans point out is Brand New's 70x7 and Taking Back Sunday's There's No I in Team. Both songs contain what some describe as death threats within the main lyrics, but there was no actual concern over any harm being done because most guys in these kind of bands tended to be all talk. As is the norm in these situations, the fans kept this rivalry alive and began to differentiate themselves as either Brand New or Taking Back Sunday fans. The bands, or at least whoever is in charge of their merch designs, fed into this rivalry as well. At the time, TBS singer Adam Lazzara was known for swinging his microphone on stage, something that was pretty commonplace amongst his peers at the time. Brand New released a shirt calling out this as unnecessary showmanship, while Taking Back Sunday hit back with a design of their own, defending the action. If you're wondering who the stolen girl in question is, keep on wondering, as no one at the time bothered to ask their side of the story. Given how the hate comments tend to get flung at the women in these situations, in hindsight, this is probably for the best. The feud appeared to die out almost as quickly as it began, with both Jesse Lacey and John Nolan seemingly moving on. TBS singer Adam Lazzaro nearly gave the feud a jump start a decade after it began when he told the publication OC Weekly in 2015, "I think Jesse Lacey is just a dick, he just sucks." Lacey chose to take the high road on this one by not responding, thus ending this rivalry. Unlike many of the more famous feuds between musicians, or between their fans, the feud between Brand New and Taking Back Sunday just slowly faded away. but for a good while there in the 2000s, there was a clear line drawn in the emo sand. Hey everybody, thank you so much for watching Things You Might Not Know. If you enjoyed today's video, please leave a like and a comment down below. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and hit that bell icon so you get notified every time I post a new video. You can follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and you can see a playlist of Things You Might Not Know videos over here. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time!